Come on, you Spurs. It was a good weekend for Chelsea as their closest challengers, Liverpool and Manchester City, dropped points at home. Arsenal continued their unbeaten run with an impressive display against Leicester City, while their North London rivals crumbled to a home defeat against Manchester United. So for the first time this season, we will not be talking about Manchester United, thank God, because the spotlight is on another team in a mess, which is Tottenham Hotspur. Let's speak to Adam C and Dr. Ramlan about their beloved Spurs. This is one of the first times where we don't have to talk about Manchester United. Now we have to talk about Tottenham Hotspur and what's going on. 5 wins, 5 losses, 0 draws. What are your thoughts on the season so far? What is Tottenham's biggest problem? Harry Kane or Daniel Levy?
I think it goes higher than Harry Kane. I really believe it's up at board level. If you look at the squad investment, I'm not just looking at this season, although there has been a poor start. Extrapolate the amount that we spend on wages, and we consider ourselves a big 6 club, right? It pales in comparison to those other 5 teams. Really pales. On top of that, the transfer windows. There was 1 year when we were really at our peak and getting to the Champions League final and all of that, which is an amazing achievement, where there was no squad investment. You cannot grow and compete unless you're investing in the squad. And getting a good manager is also key. I mean, Solskjaer, maybe he'll win a trophy, maybe he won't. But he's been there for almost 3 years. They've had massive squad investment and they haven't won a trophy yet themselves. So I think if Spurs were to splash the cash, get a good manager in, and we are expecting Conte to be announced later on today. I'm not sure when we're broadcasting this. Then I think there's every chance we could win at least 1 trophy because it's been far too long.
Well, we all know most Spurs fans are long suffering. Yes. So you win or you lose is part of the game, right? And the most important thing is the manner in which we we go about our business. The players seem to have lost all passion and all reason for playing for the crest on their chests. You see, so this is something which is very alarming because there's no pride and passion in the way they go about their business. Win or lose, to dare is to do. So where is the daring, and what are you doing? So they're just messing about, going through the motions. Whatever you do in life, if you just seem to be going through the motions, it really begs the question of why are you there doing this? Would you want to be somewhere else doing something better? So the fact of the matter is that as I agree with you, Adam, that it starts at the top, all right? And it's like a disease. So the whole thing ought to be looked from a roots to branches sort of thing, sort of approach. And you fire managers, you send players away, all right? Send them for, on loans and sell them off and so on and so forth. But the chairman stays.
We have Tottenham Hotspur's captain and leader who wanted to leave before the season starts. Do you think that could also be a problem where, as a leader, you wanted to leave, but the other players now have less respect for him?
Once you declared and you've done almost everything to leave, yeah? So you are no longer there. You're in mind and soul. It's just the body which is just existing, going through the motions. So the most important thing is for him to just be given the time to get his mojo back, to get his feel back, to get his passion back. He needs to be reintroduced into the team and leave him alone, perhaps just play in the Conference League, for example, right? So I feel that the most important thing is for him to somehow find rekindle his passion, for the club and for playing for the club. Because I think that the root of the cause is not because he dislikes or hates the club. It's because he's not winning anything. For all the goals that he scored in last season, probably at the top of his game, the most goals scored and the most assists and all that. So I feel that for all his endeavors and his achievements, he's got nothing to show for it.
Yes, I completely agree with that because that's his legacy, isn't it? I mean, he's not too far away from 30 right now. And I know Ronaldo's 36 and he's showing it doesn't matter what age you are, but not everybody's like Ronaldo. And does it speak about Spurs' ambition when they're getting Nuno Espirito Santo into the club when it's public knowledge that he is could be the 5th, the 6th, or the 7th choice manager. This isn't a knock on Nuno. It's just that his style doesn't fit Spurs. He's also coming to Spurs, or he came to Spurs when the stock wasn't particularly high. It ended not so amicably when he was at Wolves. They started off very well, but look at all his clubs. Effectively, it's boring football. It's very turgid. And it carried over, it transferred over to when he was at Spurs, and you're not going to be playing attractive football. I think Spurs fans would be okay losing 4-3 or 3-2, as long as there's intent shown, not to lose 3-0, the third, fourth time this season, to not have a single shot at home against Manchester United in front of 62,000 fans.
And they just lost to Liverpool 5-0.
Yeah, exactly. And even the match before that, Spurs against West Ham in the second half didn't have a single shot either. That's a London derby. You can't take away how important, how hot-headed that can be for the fans, the impact that it creates. And I think Harry Kane in the summer said, I'm approaching the stage now. I know I have a long-term contract with Spurs, but I want trophies. Which club is almost guaranteed to win you a trophy? It's Manchester City. Which club don't have a striker right now? Well, you could probably say Chelsea as well, because they're going to sell a few players, and this is before Lukaku came in. But you can't go to Chelsea from Spurs without burning your bridges. So Man City next, and Guardiola, a chance to work with him. Who would you rather work with, Guardiola or Nuno Espirito Santo? I think the answer is pretty obvious. But now Antonio Conte, that's a game changer. That is a huge game changer. And I think he's more likely to win a title or a trophy at least than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because of his track record.
Should Kane be forced out in January? Obviously, you can't get rid of Levy, but if you had a choice, would you pull out all stops to ditch Kane in January?
I think if Kane continues to be mired in his current funk, all right, then of course the signs are not good, and he should be he should go to where he needs to go. And I know, because he's got 3 young kids, he's not going to go overseas and take his family out and take all the risks and all that. That's why he needs to still be the EPL, to go to the schools and to have the life good enough for his children. Now that is sometimes underestimated. The fact that we think that footballers are all consumed by football in their lives, but they have a life outside football. You see. So sometimes we underestimate this thing.
Right now, Kane or Son, who's the most important player to Spurs at the moment?
I think you still have to go with Harry Kane. I mean, Son is amazing. He's definitely stepped up where Harry Kane hasn't this season. But Kane is a Tottenham boy through and through. He's been there for years. He's proved so many critics wrong. Do you remember? They were saying, he's a 1-season wonder. Okay, he's a 2-season wonder. He's a 3-season wonder. Well, guess what? Now he's the England captain. And I mean, he's the only active player really on the list that could feasibly break Alan Shearer's record of 260 Premier League goals. And what an amazing achievement if he does get there. I mean, it does require him to stay to England. So if a Real Madrid or Barcelona come calling, he can't leave. And we'll have to see it in due course. But there's a solid team there. It's not just about Kane and Son versus what we have now. And there's been a lot of changes, particularly at the back. And that's been a big issue for Spurs, is the defense. I question some of the transfers that were made in the summer. Be interesting to see who they get to fill in any spots they might find as a weakness. And we know Conte likes to splash the cash. Conte is very much a manager who's for the now. He's not about building a team of youth for the next 10 years. He's not like a Frank Lampard. He wants results now. I want to see who he gets, because I think there are some question marks about some of the Spurs players, although maybe it was Nuno's tactics as well. I mean, is Eric Dyer really the best fit as centre-back right now? I'm not sure. But yeah, Kane and Son have to start. Højbjerg, Lloris, you would probably say, is still definitely the number 1 and the captain of the club. It's just filling in all the other spots right there.
They're only important together. If you look at Son, his form in the last 5 matches has not been that great as well. He hasn't scored that many. But he's still, at least getting there rather than Kane. Kane is a bit slow to move up. But I think that together is the answer. How do we rekindle their partnership? The sort of thing that we saw last season. How do we get that back? So I think this is the key to the whole thing.
I wish we could go on. That's all the time we have at the moment. you know, in the future. Maybe we can get you back on and we can talk about all these points. Hopefully Spurs do a lot better in the future under Conte. If it's confirmed, Adam C and Dr. Ramlan, both of them do have the thought where Conte is the man to bring Tottenham Hotspurs forward, and Kane and Son, can they rekindle that form where we saw it many times in the past for this future? And for match week 11, the biggest game is Manchester City versus Manchester United. Can Manchester City bounce back after that loss against Crystal Palace? Or can Manchester United continue the form where they beat Tottenham 3-0? Join our Football Mad Tribe again next week. Respond to our topic of choice on all our social media platforms to have a chance of appearing on What's Kicking. This is the place to make your football voice heard. I'm Said Adni, signing out.